It's time, Fort Wayne. Your sports, your station. It's the Sports Rush with Brett Rump.
Max Landis.
Covering all the topics that hit a nerve here in the Summit City.
Clark goes 11 yards, touchdown.
Only on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Now here's your host, Brett Rump.
And welcome. We are on the road today. We are live at Winter Circle Race Sports Pub in New Haven. It is a live edition of the Sports Rush. We hope you not only tune in up until 6 o'clock, but you take some time to come on out here and watch games with us. In fact, that's what it's all about. It is day one. Officially, it's day one of the NCAA tournament. I don't care what they say about those first 2 days. They can call them whatever they want, but to me, this is when the tournament really gets juicy. This is when it gets going. And so we are live out here at Winter Circle, our favorite stop. I think this is the third straight year that we have come out here to start the NCAA tournament. And so far, we've got results, including the Purdue Boilermakers picking up a win against High Point. I told you yesterday, Adam, it was going to be one of those where Purdue fans might not sleep all that well last night. That's a very good High Point team. It was a one-possession game under 8 minutes left, but Purdue eventually just too big, too physical, talented enough to overcome, and they ended up winning 75-63. So the Boilermakers advance. They're going to be playing the winner of Clemson and McNeese State, and we got a surprise going on. It could be our first big upset.
Yeah, it is now 21-8, the lead for McNeese State over the Clemson Tigers, and there's only 7 minutes remaining in the first half already.
So 13 minutes of basketball, and the Clemson Tigers with 8 points. Now, we thought the ACC was probably a little bit of a weaker conference. We weren't sure North Carolina deserved to be in the field, although they looked very good the other night. But, boy, Clemson, who a lot of people thought might even be a team to consider for a run into the Final Four, and they may not make it past the first day. In fact, now they're down 23-8.
Yeah, and I can tell you that they've only shot 3 of 15 from the field and are 0 from 9 from 3 as a team, so shots not falling for the Tigers.
And McNeese State, of course, you know, it looks like it's just this unbelievable lead.
It can be cut into very quickly.
But it's 15, and there's still 26 and a half minutes of basketball still left. So plenty of time. And again, you know, Purdue had a tight win with High Point. It was just a 3-point game, but Purdue was able to kind of pull away, and they did it defensively. They put the stops on High Point, and that kind of led to the Purdue separation. But the Boilermakers, of course, didn't finish the season real well, so you wonder what kind of Purdue team you would see today. I'll be honest. I picked Purdue to win this game, and I picked them on my bracket. But it was one of those
Which
games.
Which one,
no? Yeah, I think, actually, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I got 10 brackets. 9 of them have Purdue.
Wow. There you go.
I felt like there was enough of a chance for High Point.
A 1 in 10 chance, huh?
Yeah, that they got one of my brackets. But that one bracket, I had them getting beat by. I had High Point then getting beat by Clemson in the second round. They might not even
be in there.
Might not even get to see Clemson in the second round. So craziness right now. Of course, the game's in progress right now. You've got McNeese State and Clemson. Auburn is, they were in quite a battle against Alabama State, but I think Auburn's just too big, physical, and athletic. I think they're going to wear Alabama State down because Alabama State had to play the other day. And eventually, I think Auburn is going to pull away and rout that one. It was a 1-point game.
Yeah, it was. I mean, real close.
With like 2 minutes left or even less than 2 minutes left in the first half. Next thing I know, I look at the scoreboard. It's halftime. It's 41-31. Auburn's up by 10 and threatening to blow that one open. Also today, if you missed any of the games, of course, we've got your tournament coverage all weekend long, all tournament long, all the way through the championship game from Westwood 1. And, of course, it's presented by our fine folks here at Winter Circle, by Midwest Box Breaks, by Back 40 Junction. But other scores today, Houston, no problem with SIUE. That one, not a surprise. 78-40 was the final. The Cougars rout the Cougars.
Yeah.
Also, Wisconsin pulled away from Montana and the Badgers with an 85-66 win to advance into Saturday's second round. And perhaps a little bit of a surprise to some, not to our listeners' bracket, but it did hurt my bracket, was Creighton beating Louisville. And Creighton raced out to that big lead, and then they just kind of held on the rest of the way. Louisville had a bad injury to one of their key players in the second half, and Creighton wins at 89-75 over the Cardinals. And so what was a real nice first season for Pat Kelsey turns into a quick exit from the NCAA tournament, but Creighton continues on with an 89-75 win. Now, Creighton, is Creighton matched up against Houston?
Creighton will take on the winner of Auburn and Alabama State.
Okay. So they'll take on what likely will be Auburn in the next round. It's funny, you can look at scores, but then you got to look at the bracket because none of it makes sense. Do you remember the old days?
Probably not.
Do you remember in the old days when you used to have the brackets were all set up regionally, so all of the teams playing in one city at this point in the tournament were all going to be feeding into the same regional, and they stopped doing that because they wanted to limit the amount of travel. And so you end up with teams now that will play a first day out in the East Coast, but they're in the South Regional, and then there'll be teams that play at Providence in the afternoon session and the night session that might not go to the same regional. One might go to the South, one might go to the Midwest. It's all over the place. So it's very hard to keep track of who's playing who because the sites just don't matter anymore in this first weekend.
Yeah. Fortunately, we do have the bracket right in front of us. That'll help us along with what we need to get through today. And I know we're going to have some listeners here live probably picking a couple of these later round matchups.
Yeah, we've got to fill up that listeners bracket that we started the last couple of days. And where are we? We're through the first two rounds, right?
Yeah, we're on to the round of Sweet 16. So that'll be fun.
Any team that the listeners had advancing to the round of 32 that is no longer, we've only had a handful of games, but I think they've gotten every one of them right, haven't they? McNeese, Clemson. I think they picked McNeese.
They did pick McNeese,
the
so that's
listeners
looking
picked
good.
McNeese.
As
Wow.
of now.
That looks like a brilliant pick. Do you know who picked that for our listeners?
Shout out to Walt. He picked that.
Wow. Walt's having a good little run.
Yeah, now underway. We've got VCU taking on BYU. That one just got underway.
It's the all-alphabet super game with VCU and BYU. And then coming up next, we got the Double G game.
Oh, yeah. Gucci now.
Gonzaga and Georgia. They'll play, won't they?
Yep, that's coming up at 4:35.
And so plenty of games for you to come out here and check out.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, enjoy the drink specials, $2.25 drafts. You've got $15 buckets of beer. You've got the ribs.
Yeah.
We might have to check out a rack of ribs at some point.
Oh, don't tempt me, my man. You'll never get me back on air.
I don't think we can come out here without trying something on the menu because they got a fantastic menu.
They really
What's nice, if you've never been to Winter Circle, let me just explain this place. First of all, you've got the big bar right in the middle. I mean, right smack in the middle. Great big giant bar.
Full service.
And so you've got the service there. You've got the window where you can place a little something on any of the action.
Oh, yeah.
You also have an entire room that we're in, which is actually half of the whole facility, but it's kind of separated from the horse side because you got horses on one side, you got basketball going on the other. So, here's the thing. If you get a dead spot in the basketball game, you can just walk about 20 feet on the other side of the bar and start playing on the, horses.
Go pick a pony. Why not?
Pick a pony and enjoy the horse racing that's going on because we're getting into a key time of the year for horse racing because you've got the Kentucky Derby that's, 7-8 weeks away, 7 weeks, 6 weeks?
Coming right up, yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, I think about this weather we've got today, which reminds us much more of Midwest winter than spring. Is tomorrow the first day of spring?
I think it's today.
Is it? Oh, well, what a wonderful way to start spring.
Right, way to ring it in here.
Where's that darn groundhog? I don't think they predict. They said early spring, right?
We're gonna come beat you up, Puxatawny.
But anyway, you think about the weather we've got today and the fact that Tin Caps baseball is,
man.
2 weeks away?
Yeah. It's coming up on the 4th of April, which is, 15 days away, so just over 2 weeks.
Wow.
Hope it warms up.
Yeah, we got a lot of warming up to do. And looking at the extended forecast, glad they're not opening next week.
No. Get it at least 1 week farther than
Okay,
that.
so our Parkview Sports Medicine text line, 260-447-8500. If you've got any questions, comments, or suggestions, we've got the text line open. We're also on Facebook today at facebook.com/1380thefan. You can watch us if you care to do that, but it's also a convenient way to listen. You can do that on Facebook. You can stream us worldwide. We're at 1380thefan.com. You can always get us, too, on the 1380 The Fan app. And, of course, you can listen on 1380 AM or 100.9 FM, wherever you choose to take in the show. And don't forget, anytime you miss any part of the show and you want to catch up, you can always do that by going to the podcast page. You can find our podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Search for us by name, The Sports Rush, with Brett Rump. All right, so Purdue High Point earlier today. Trey Kaufman-Renn ended up being kind of the hero for the Boilermakers, who I don't know. It wasn't a great performance, but they dominated on the rebounding, and that was really the story of the game. High Point could not keep Purdue off the glass. How many offensive rebounds did Purdue end up with?
19.
Wow, that's just an insane number.
Yeah, no, that's great effort on the glass, and part of the big difference in this game is
I think that was the game.
Yeah.
Second chance points on the 19 offensive rebounds was the difference in a 12-point win for the Boilermakers.
Yeah, they certainly struggled from three-point range, 5 of 15, and I thought for Braden Smith it was definitely not an efficient game, but he kind of just powered through all the things they were throwing at him to kind of just get where he needed to get the Boilermakers.
And other than a little early foul trouble for Trey Kaufman-Renn, I thought it was a pretty solid performance for TKR.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Purdue advances. Now, still on the agenda, if you're wondering what kind of games, like if I come out and I hang out with you guys until 6, then what's coming on later tonight? Well, I can tell you.
We got some good ones.
Yeah, we have the first game of the evening is going to be at 6:50 p.m., and that's going to be Wofford and Tennessee. And then you've got what I think is perhaps the game of the day, Arkansas, Kansas, John Calipari against Bill Self. That will be a good one, and that's at 7:10. And then you have Yale and Texas A&M. Drake, Missouri comes up tonight at 7:35. Utah State, UCLA at 9:25. And then the night finishes up with Omaha against St. John's and UC San Diego against Michigan. The UC San Diego squad, and doing some research on them, that's a team that if I'm Michigan, I better hope, or a Michigan fan, I better hope that the Wolverines come ready to play, because that's a pretty solid UC San Diego squad. They haven't played the schedule, obviously, that Michigan has played, but UC San Diego is legit, a 30-win team. They've only got 4 losses. Michigan at 25-9. Right now, the line is just 3.5 points, which kind of tells you a lot of people are thinking that this game could be very close. Michigan, according to ESPN Analytics, has a 67% chance to win. And the game, by the way, is being played in Denver coming up tonight. So
altitude now.
Well, it's not only altitude, but it is a time zone that I guess is closer to San Diego than it is to Michigan. And it's a late tip.
Mountain, yeah.
I mean, Michigan tipping off at almost 10 o'clock Eastern time. Is that going to have any kind of an impact? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the NCAA tournament. You got to do what you got to do, but there's a lot of things that I look at that. Like I was concerned about High Point, but the one thing that High Point has done this year is, believe it or not, they've actually been a good rebounding team.
Yeah, just not today.
They averaged a +6 on the glass during the course of the season, but today Purdue absolutely crushed them on the glass, and Purdue did it with a short lineup because they didn't play 2 bigs at a time. They generally played Trey Kaufman-Renn and a short lineup. And when I say short, it just means they didn't have Caleb Furst out there. They didn't have another big out there on the floor with Trey Kaufman-Renn.
Yeah.
1 big and 4 wings or guards. And yet they still dominated in the paint. They dominated On the glass, they owned, as far as big man territory, they owned it today.
Yeah, and it was actually a very productive first half for Will Berg, who hasn't played a whole lot of minutes for Purdue this season, but with Trey Kaufman-Renn in foul trouble in the first half, he had a good first half there for Purdue. What are you looking for?
So I have to go back to Sunday night selection because we pulled this story. And
yes, I got you here, my friend.
It was from the NIT. And this is kind of one of the more interesting stories of the week as far as I was concerned. I had a chance to bring it up, so I thought today we'll bring it up. The NIT released their bracket Sunday evening. And what happened was the NIT had it brought to their attention that one of the teams scheduled to participate in the tournament had also committed to a non-NCAA affiliated postseason event. So in an effort to secure another participating team, the NIT prematurely extended an invitation to South Alabama. Notified them, told them they were in, told them they were part of the field. Now, if you can imagine, for a school like South Alabama or any mid-major, getting notified that you're going to be part of the NIT, which is widely accepted as the secondary tournament to the NCAA, I mean, that is a big deal. The Mastodons have only been to one NIT.
Yeah.
That is a big deal. And so the coach gets word they've been invited to the National Invitation Tournament. And he tells the team, well, regrettably, the NIT learned that they had made a mistake, and there was not a spot for South Alabama as they had anticipated, and they had to go back and renege on South Alabama and tell them, thanks, but no thanks. We've got a full field. We regret to inform you that you will not be part of this year's tournament.
Yeah, that really stinks. Need to have some measures in place to assure something like this doesn't happen, because that is a huge disappointment for a team that did have a good season and thought that they were going to be honored with a postseason tournament just secondary to the men's NCAA tournament, and kind of got ripped from them. So that really hurts. So,
and
yeah.
Head coach Richie Riley, he had told his team had celebrated that they had made it into the NIT, and then he had to go back and inform his team that the NIT pulled the rug on them, and they were not going to be going to the NIT. They have to go to a different tournament. Very, very disappointing. And, the other story of the week that we haven't talked about is the West Virginia governor.
Oh, yeah, he was upset.
Oh, he's upset. The governor is, publicly speaking and calling out the NCAA selection committee for their failure to include West Virginia. Maybe he should have been more concerned about keeping the coach around, but he was so upset that they did not get in the tournament, and he has started dropping all of the analytics and the stats and the figures of how West Virginia compares to North Carolina and how West Virginia has an advantage in over almost every analytical category. And so he's been making his case publicly, and in the meantime, lost the coach. So everybody knows Darian DeVries is now the coach of the Indiana Hoosiers.
Yep, he's there in Bloomington, and I hate to say it, but I feel like if North Carolina wins one or two more games, everybody's going to forget about how big of a snub West Virginia and some of those other teams were.
Do you think Governor Brown should step up and maybe speak out about IU getting snubbed and not getting in the field? They were.
You said it yourself. IU had it in their hands. It was their own destiny.
Yeah, I don't think IU was actually a snub. I think IU set themselves up to not make this tournament by not doing the job themselves. They have no one else to blame. They can argue what their case is and why they should be in, but the fact is they didn't prove it on the court when they had an opportunity. All they needed was one win in the Big Ten tournament being played in their backyard against Oregon. They didn't get it, and so too bad. It's
so sad.
To me, it's and you know what? In hindsight, I'm not so sure that Scott Dolson was crushed by that, because once he saw the draw and saw that West Virginia's not in, Indiana's not in, I can go ahead and close the deal, because the one thing that Coach DeVries disclosed was the discussions of him becoming the Indiana coach had been going on for perhaps months. Throughout the season, he said.
Yeah.
There were discussions with him. So this was not something that was done, and like I said yesterday, I don't think it was something that was done in a 24-hour period. This was something that had been negotiated, worked on, and planned for a month or two. Now, West Virginia fans are still trying to claim conspiracy and that it was discussed back in November, and that's why Tucker DeVries ended up with this injury, and they think it's a phantom injury, and he only had the injury so he could get an extra year, play for his dad in the cream and crimson with the candy stripe pants. Oh, yeah, we'll see.
We will see.
But we do know Tucker DeVries is going to be a Hoosier. I mean, you don't show up at the press conference wearing IU apparel unless you're going to be an Indiana Hoosiers basketball player, right?
Right. I mean, enters the transfer portal with a do not contact tag. I think we've got it figured out.
All right, we got headlines?
We do have a couple headlines.
All right, let's get to them. Let's find out what's happening in the world of sports. It is today's top headlines, with Adam Lundy.
All right, thanks, Brett. Well, a former NFL and University of Michigan assistant football coach allegedly hacked into the computer accounts of thousands of college athletes seeking intimate photos and videos, according to an indictment filed today. Matt Weiss, who worked for the Baltimore Ravens before joining the University of Michigan in 2021, was charged with 14 counts of unauthorized computer access and 10 counts of identity theft. A group led by Bill Chisholm, managing partner at Symphony Technology Group, has agreed to purchase the Boston Celtics for a valuation of $6.1 billion, sources told Shams Charania.
Wait, that was only $6.1 billion?
Only 6.1.
Oh, man, I missed out.
You did miss out. You could have gotten it. That price would surpass the $6.05 billion price a group led by Josh Harris paid to buy the NFL's Washington Commanders in 2023 as the most paid for a franchise in North American sports history. And with the tournament going on, Cooper Flagg says he is pain-free after suffering an ankle injury that kept him out of the majority of Duke's ACC tournament championship run, and he expects to be fully healthy for the Blue Devils NCAA tournament opener against Mount St. Mary's tomorrow. The Duke star rolled his ankle in the first half against Georgia Tech on March 13th, but Flagg said he went through a full practice yesterday and expects no issues when he takes the court for his NCAA tournament game tomorrow. Those are your top stories.
Broadcasting live from Winner's Circle out in New Haven. You've got to come out here and watch some games with us. You know you want to watch games, and you're always frustrated because you wear out the remote when you try to watch them at home. No problem here at Winner's Circle. Right now we've got a wall of 6 large flat-screen TVs. All the games that are going on are on display somewhere, somehow, and there's no obstructions to your view. You've got a wide-open room where you can sit at a table of your choosing. You can enjoy the $2.25 draft beers. You can enjoy the $15 buckets. They've got plenty of great food choices for you out here at Winner's Circle. And, of course, one of the big advantages of watching games here at Winner's Circle, it's not just a sports bar. No, it is also a sports book. So you can place a little action on the games, and when you hit and you win big, you can go right to the counter and get cash. No waiting on transfers. None of that. Nope, you get your money, you spend it, and you buy Adam and Brett a round of drinks. That's
the way it works.
That's how we like it here at Winner's Circle. So we hope you come out and join us. We're here till 6 today. And by the way, we'd love to have you out here today, but we're even going to give you a mulligan. If you don't make it today, you can come out tomorrow. What do we have here? We still got a couple of items that we're giving away. So if you get in here and you're first come, first serve, you can pick up, what is it, Adam? You got a chance to see this stuff.
Yeah, we got a couple of Harris T-shirts. We've got some Harris koozies. We've got some 1380 The Fan koozies. And we got we got a twin pack of pillows here. This was, you know how casinos sometimes give away some interesting prizes?
Well, yeah, all of their VIPs, it's like you come in and you play on a certain day, you get some kind of nice prize. My wife's gotten like an air fryer.
Hey, we have one of those.
Don't let it.
If you come in and specifically ask for an air fryer, I will give you an air fryer.
Really?
Right there.
Seriously? Because that's one of the nicest prizes she's ever won. It is an air fryer.
That's what it looks like. So if you come in and specifically
either that or they just used the box. I hope you know that there's an air fryer in there.
I'll check during commercial break.
But these,
to be decided.
But these are the types of things my wife gets all the time because down in Florida. Well, she's kind of a frequent visitor to the neighborhood casino.
Nothing wrong with that.
And, I never know what she's doing down there. All I know is she gets really nice prizes, but claims she only uses her free play. And I'm like, how do you get such nice prizes? And they're always catering to you, giving you all kinds of free stuff But you're only using free play.
How does that happen?
How does that work? Yeah.
We'll have to think on that one.
Yeah, I'm going to have to ask Brian, the manager out here, and say, how's my wife pulling this off?
We'll figure it out.
I might be getting a tall tale.
You might be.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a break. We're going to come back. Plenty more here. Skoloho is in the building. How do you like that? One of our co-workers has stopped in today. And so we'll take a break. We got plenty more to talk about. We'll fill you in on what's happening with the NCAA tournament on the screens here. And hopefully at some point here this hour, we'll get Brian to jump in and talk a little bit more about some of the exciting things happening here at Winner's Circle in New Haven. Stop out and see us. We're at the corner of Minnick and Highway 30. We're just west of 469 with the Sports Rush on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
This is Maria Marquesano, head women's basketball coach at Purdue Fort Wayne, and you're listening to the Sports Rush with Brett Rump on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back to the Winner's Circle in New Haven, broadcasting live with the Sports Rush today and tomorrow. Why, you might ask? Do you really have to ask? That would be kind of a silly question. It's the start of the NCAA tournament, wall-to-wall coverage right now, and we're watching McNeese State trying to pull an upset against Clemson, and I don't know what the score is. I think it's I think it's halftime, and so now we've got the studio show and they've taken it off. But I think it's halftime.
Yeah, 31 to 13.
Look at Clemson adding up those points. 13 points the entire first half for the Clemson Tigers.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah, we're going to have to call them the Clemson Kitties because that you can't even call them a Tiger if they only score 13 points. They're down 31 to 13 to McNeese State. The Cowboys will wait, I guess. But, looking at Clemson in the first half, they were over 6.7%. So they could just not make a shot. Is that a 5-12 matchup?
It is a 5-12.
So we could have that 5-12 upset here right away in the first day, first afternoon of the tournament. Come on out here to Winner's Circle and join us. We've got your drink specials. We've got your food specials. We've got, you know what? We've got prizes.
We do.
Including the secret prize that's not on display, but you've got to come in and ask for it. Adam, what is today's secret prize?
It's an air fryer.
It is an air fryer.
I know there's someone out there that's always wanted one.
From Cuisinart.
Oh, nope. I'm going to correct you. We also have a 4-cup rice cooker to give away from Cuisinart.
That's for tomorrow.
Okay, we'll keep that. They have more stuff for us tomorrow, too, Brett.
Cuisinart.
And then the air fryers from Elite Gourmet. Just for full transparency.
It is. Okay. Okay. You switched the boxes. Somehow that thing's got. Okay. So now it is an Elite Gourmet air fryer. And all you've got to do is when you stop out here at Winner's Circle, you pop in, you find us, and you say, hey, air fryer me.
I like that. I like that.
That's all you got to do.
Awesome.
All right, so Purdue Boilermakers get the win today. They're advancing into Saturday. It was a 3-point game with 7 minutes and 47 seconds left. It looked like High Point had the momentum, but then Purdue was able to turn the tables. Trey Kaufman-Wren kind of was the star for the Boilermakers today, 21 points. The key stat for the Purdue Boilermakers, 19 offensive rebounds. I was shocked. High Point just could not get anything off the glass.
No, and I mean overall too. I mean they out-rebounded them 45 to 24. So not even just on the offensive glass, defense too.
So Purdue is now awaiting the winner of this Clemson-McNeese State game, and I don't know if it's going to be a break playing McNeese State. A lot of times when you get the number 12 to upset the number 5, you feel like you got the bullet. You got a better opponent. But the way this McNeese State team is defending, and Clemson, of course, not shooting it well, but part of that you have to credit the McNeese defense. But, it's a one-sided game, 31 to 13.
Yeah, and the fact is, if, McNeese does hold on and pull this out, they come in with a lot of momentum and a lot of belief in their team. So, look out, Purdue, if that's what happens.
Yesterday, the Indiana Hoosiers were able to introduce Darren DeVries, the new Indiana coach. You know what? It's funny. I talked to 3 or 4 people today that was the discussion. They wanted to know my opinion on the hire. They talked about who they thought it was going to be. And I know there were a lot of names out there. There were some that liked Chris Beard. There were some that thought Dusty May was going to be the guy from the beginning, and then they realized that Dusty May wasn't going to go anywhere, and so they took him off their wish list. But I was right with them. I told them, I said, my feeling on it from the beginning, and I've shared this on the show, is initially Dusty May. I thought that's the guy Indiana has to go and get, go after. But what's interesting is apparently from the early going, the discussions had begun with Darren DeVries, and he kind of let that slip in his press conference yesterday when he said throughout the process that Indiana, was talking to him during the course of the season and that they gave him space so he was able to coach his team. But he made it very clear that this was a process that began well back during the regular season.
Right.
And so it seems like Indiana must have focused in on him fairly early. Now, it doesn't mean they didn't focus in on Dusty May and that Dusty May ended up drifting back to Michigan and saying, thanks, but no thanks. I feel like I owe it to Michigan to stay here. I just arrived a year ago. But for Darren DeVries, that didn't matter. He just arrived in West Virginia a year ago. He was willing to up and leave. And he's taking, obviously, his son with him, Tucker DeVries, who's going to be a guy that probably scores 16 to 18 points per game for the Hoosiers. But more importantly, he brings a threat from the perimeter. I mean, he's basically a guy that can hit logo threes. He's got almost unlimited range. He's a guy that can attack on the bounce, but he can also step back and hit a 28, 29-foot three-point shot. And, that's great because it's a guy that spaces out the defense. He, and that will give more space to their interior players to work, whoever those interior players might be. Malik Renew, of course, is going to transfer from the University of Indiana. And, yes, I know, it's Indiana University, and even Malik Renew corrected himself the next day.
With a lovely chat GPT.
With some kind of a PR press release. But Malik Renew has announced that he's going to enter the transfer portal. But I've got confidence looking at some of the players that are going to be leaving West Virginia, coming with Coach DeVries, those that were committed to West Virginia that are now asking out of their commitment, they're going to be joining Coach DeVries. I think Indiana has a chance to have a really talented roster next year. We saw Luke Goody. He tweeted on social media the eyeballs with a fire emoji. So obviously he's like, I see this and I like it. It's fire, right? That's how I'm supposed to interpret that,
that's
right?
That's fire, man.
Yeah, that's fire. That's hot. That's good, right? So anyway, left you hanging there, didn't I?
That's okay.
That's all right.
We'll figure it out.
But anyway, we hope you come out and find us here. We are hanging out watching the games at Winter Circle. It's easy to find.
Super easy.
New Haven. We're just east of downtown New Haven, and we are just west of 469. We're in the Lutheran Health Network Plaza.
Yeah, and if you need to have any indicators of where we're at, we've got the 1380, the fan vehicle parked out right at the intersection there, so keep an eye out for that if you're coming in.
And then when you get in here, remember, if you're the first person to come up to us and say, air fryer me.
I love that phrase. I love that. We're going to need that on the T-shirt.
We're going to fix you up with an air fryer.
Yes, we will.
From Elite Gourmet.
Elite Gourmet. But yes, we do have that to give away.
I mean, that's my wife uses hers all the time.
My girlfriend and I, who is luckily enough, she joined us here today. Really happy about that.
It's amazing.
It's real.
No, I'm just saying it is amazing that you have such a lovely lady that you have found, and you've kept her away from me for a long time. Apparently, you knew what she would think of you if she knew you were hanging out with me 2 hours every day.
Oh no, but glad we're out here, and I can just attest that we use our air fryer almost every week.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Okay, we're going to find out everything happening here at Winter Circle because our buddy Brian, he's here.
Yeah,
the world-class putter.
Mini golfer. Putt or mini golf. What would you? Both.
Yeah, he's a putt-putt guy.
This dude does nothing but eagles and holes in ones.
You know, every time I see Rory screwing it up on the greens, I think he needs to know my buddy Brian over at Winner's Circle.
This dude crushes it.
Somebody's got to teach Rory how to finish off with putts. But no, we'll talk to Brian right now. What do we have? Still, it's 31-15. The Clemson comeback has started in the second half.
17.
BYU VCU
16.
seems to be the game of the afternoon right now. That's a 2-point game with 7 minutes left in the first half. And
Gonzaga, Georgia just got underway.
Well, I told you yesterday, that's a mismatch. It's an 8-9 that has no business being an 8-9 game.
Yeah, you said that
Georgia
Zags
should be an 11, and Gonzaga should be about a 6. So
they have a 5-0 lead to start the game, do the Zags. So looking like it's coming to fruition so far.
Yeah, I mean, that's all according to the Ken Palm analytics. That's a mismatch. So we'll see.
All right, we will.
And looks like Gonzaga's going to go to the free throw line, looking to add to that 5-0 score. So the route is on. Gonzaga there's no chance for Georgia.
Hey, 2 Bulldogs. We've got a double Cougar and a double Bulldog match.
Well, what you do is you take my advice. You come out here, you drop a little something on the game, and then what's nice is once Gonzaga takes care of business and they win like we know they're going to,
you're so confident.
Then you just go to the counter and you grab your cash and you buy Brett and Adam drinks.
Perfect.
It's a great plan. It's why you should come out here and hang with us, because we've got your evening all set up for you.
And an air fryer.
And we've got an air fryer. Still nobody has come in to ask for that air fryer.
Not yet. It's still here.
We got somebody out in a Boyd right now who's thinking, I can make it. I can make it. All right. We're at the corner of Minnick and Highway 30, New Haven. Winner's Circle. Race Sports Pub. Come out and see us. It's the Sports Rush at 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. State basketball right here at 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Presented as always by Parkview Sports Medicine. Well, the general manager here at Winner's Circle, where we're broadcasting live not only today but tomorrow as well. He is joining me. It is Brian Johnson. And Brian, once again, so much fun to be out here. Thank you for the invite. We really appreciate it.
Oh, I love having you guys here. It's always fun and makes the day better for these big sporting events that you come out and join us for.
Well, it's always a lot of fun. And, of course, this is such a perfect place to be able to watch the games because you've got unobstructed views. You've got a wide open room where you can see everybody else. You know, you're not trying to look past other people to see the game. Very easy to watch the games on this side. And what's fun is if, you end up with a couple of games at halftime, the other game's a blowout, all you got to do is just drift a few feet across the room here, and you've got horse racing, and there's action every day on the tracks with the horse racing as well here.
Oh, yeah, all over the country every day. There's anywhere from 120 to 200 races a day around the country, and we show them all.
It's amazing what you have to do here. And, of course, the food, the drinks, you've got every advantage to getting out. I mean, if some people think, I got to find a sports bar to go watch the games. Don't think about a sports bar. Think about a sports book, a place like here at Winner's Circle, because not only do you have the horse racing and you have the games, but you've also got a little way to make some money, too.
Oh, absolutely. Come out, make a bet on your favorite team, or you think you got that underdog, the 5-12 matchup, if you want to put some money on the 12 because you feel good about them, this is the perfect place to do it. And it looks like McNeese might be the winner of that one for the first round.
And I think they were a pretty popular choice from what I was hearing from people. A lot of people liked McNeese. I just thought Clemson was going to be better and have a better showing. But right now, 40-18. McNeese is leading it over Clemson, and they're early in the second half. That's right, Clemson early in the second half has 16 or 18 total points. Just ridiculous for the Clemson Tigers. I had a chance to see Clemson in person.
Okay.
I saw them. We were down at Daytona for the Sunshine Slam, which took place back in around Thanksgiving. And the Mastodons were playing in that event. And and Clemson was playing on the other side of the bracket. They played some bigger schools. Penn State was there. Clemson was there. So I had a chance to see. In fact, Clemson won the event down there. So I had a chance. I had a chance to see Clemson play in person this year, which is kind of rare. Look at that. We've got the guy that made it from a Boyd to come out and get his air fryer. Did he say air fryer me? Okay, that was what we told him. Had to say air fryer me to get an air fryer. But how about that? What's your name, sir? Steve. Steve got himself an air fryer.
That's great.
Oh, you know, happy wife, happy life. I bet Steve's going home to win some points with the, you know what you do? You take the air fryer home, and then you got control of the remote all night.
That seems like a good plan.
You know, you got to have that. But we'd love to have you stop out here and see us and even hang out with us a little bit. Now, you've also got some great drink specials going on.
Yeah, we're running 225 drafts on the Bud Light, Coors Light, Miller Light. And then on top of that, we got the $15 5-bottle buckets for all the domestics. So come out, just have a beer, enjoy watching the games.
Now, I know we've explored the menu. Every time we come out, we find new items or we find something that we have to give a try because we hear about a new dish or something that's become popular. You do have a special on the half rack of ribs. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we're running $2 off the half rack of ribs for the weekend to celebrate the first round. We're also doing $1 off our pizzas that our chef actually makes in the back. It's not any of these frozen shipped in. She makes the dough. She makes everything for us back there. And then we're also doing taquitos, which is something a special dish she put together specifically this weekend for us. It's chicken and cheese and garlic and onion just wrapped in a tortilla shell, and everybody's been raving about it.
I was going to say, it sounds fantastic. It's definitely something that I'm going to have before I leave here today, so I know what to talk about tomorrow. But a great menu. And how many years now have you been out here? We talked about this last year.
We moved out here from up on Lima Road. We moved out here in 2015. And then the sports book went live in 2019, I believe it was, when sports went legal in Indiana.
So you had the horse racing.
Yes.
2015. So it's basically the 10-year anniversary of being out here in New Haven.
Yeah. Just looking forward to the Kentucky Derby here coming up in 6 weeks.
Well, I was going to ask you about the horse racing because you mentioned there's racing every day, but right now is one of those prime times of the year because we're starting to get the idea of who's going to be racing in that Kentucky Derby in early May.
Yeah, we've got 2 Derby prep races this Saturday, one in Louisiana, one in Kentucky. Then the following Saturday is the Florida Derby at Gulfstream Park in Florida, the Arkansas Derby at Oaklawn Park in Arkansas, and then the Saturday after that is the Wood Memorial, the Bluegrass Stakes, and the Santa Anita Derby. Pretty much these next 3 Saturdays, we're going to know who the contenders are to win the Derby here.
And, for rookies, I mean, sometimes you think, it sounds kind of interesting to me, but I might be intimidated trying to go out and figure out how to bet. How do you make those people welcome?
Well, we've got a sheet for newcomers to bet horse racing. We just breaks it down, the basic bets that you can figure out, and our program person or any supervisor were more than happy to answer any questions. And the one thing that I truly love about horse betting is we honestly want you to win every horse bet you place with us, because the way horse racing works, you make your bets, and then all that money gets pooled together from everybody that bets on it, and that money gets divided amongst the winners. So you're not actually betting against us. We just get the small take off the top.
Right.
So we want you to win every horse bet here.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful point to make. And so come on out here. You can have the horses on the one side. You can have the college games on the other. And, Brian, before I let you go, I got to get an update. We talked about and kind of joked about you being the putt-putt world-class champion. I don't know if you're a world-class champion, but you do have a world-class reputation. So where are you at right now? Give us kind of some bragging points on what you've been able to accomplish since last time we talked.
Well, I finished second at the Masters back in October, so I am qualified for this year's Team USA. So I'll be going to Sweden in June to represent the U.S. in the World Championships.
Wow, you know what? If we'd have to give the man an applause for that. So second place in the Masters, is that a light green jacket then? Is that, you're going to go for that dark green one next time?
Yeah, exactly. That's
best of luck with that. Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, we hear about this every time. He's in, like, world-class events. I mean, it's amazing what you've got accomplished in the world of – is it called the world of putt-putt or the world of mini golf? How do they change? How do they bracket it? Because, like, pool is called billiards. I call it pool. Everybody calls it billiards, right? But – how do they define it in your sport?
Putt-putt has its own national championship and its own professional league, and then mini golf has its own professional. I'm a member of both, so I play in both tours.
Oh, okay. So that's Brian, and you get to meet him, and I think he'll be here signing autographs too for those that are big fans of the world of putt-putt or mini golf. But come on out here to Winner's Circle, meet him in person. Great guy, runs a great establishment out here, and if you haven't been, Super clean place, wide open sight lines, modern decor. I mean, it's just a really cool place to hang out, whether it's for lunch, for dinner, or just come out, bet on the horses, or watch the games right here at Winter Circle. Always enjoy the invite. Always have a great time. We're here looking forward not only to the rest of today, but tomorrow. And before we let you go, we got to get some bets. Adam, you got a microphone?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
You got to turn it on, though, buddy.
That helps.
Yeah, he's a producer. All right, so we got to get Brian on our listeners bracket because we're filling out this listeners bracket. So give Brian some games. Now, here's the thing. We don't think anybody on the bracket's gotten knocked out yet, but the games you're going to get are the ones that have been picked by listeners ahead of you, because we started with listeners that were picking the first round, second round. Now we're going into the third round.
Yep. All right. I'm going to give you the chance of left or right.
Let's go right.
All right. On the right side, we've got Duke taking on Arizona.
Arizona.
Okay. Arizona. Duke going down. Even though Cooper Flagg is back.
Well, and you do know Duke is the number one team to win it all, according to the bracket challenge on ESPN. The total number of they got like 10 million or 12 million brackets or whatever they got. Duke has been picked as the national champion on like 25% of those brackets.
Yeah, Arizona was my dark horse before this thing started. So.
All right.
Up next, it's Brigham Young taking on Alabama.
I'm going to go with BYU in that one.
All right.
Oh, man. You know, Brian's either going to be everybody's hero or he might become everybody's goat with the listener bracket.
All right, up next.
Bold choices.
Houston taking on McNeese, who does look good right now against Clemson, 45-27.
Clemson's just play. Somebody forgot to take the practice bubble off the basket for him. It's keeping all the ball out, but I think McNeese is going to go down hard to Houston.
Okay, Houston moves on. One more for you today, Brian. Kentucky taking on Tennessee. That's a good one.
I want Tennessee to win that one so bad, but I think Kentucky's going to take it.
All right. You're all set.
All right, so we still have one side of that bracket. We're going to have to find somebody that's hanging out here with us to pick our next region or our next part of the bracket. We'll do that. We also have a whole other hour, including Eric Dudkevich. He's going to come out here and tell us all about the Purdue Boilermakers. He's got to break down Purdue against somebody. We just don't know who that somebody is going to be at this point. And now, does Purdue play the McNeese? They play the McNeese-Clemson winner, right? So it could be Purdue having to play McNeese State in the next round.
Yeah, coming in hot after a win over a 5 seed.
Wow. We'll have to talk to Eric Dudkevich about that, plus high school semi-state. We've got that coming up on Saturday with Homestead taking on Crown Point. It was a disappointing regional, though, for a lot of our Fort Wayne area teams, unfortunately. But Homestead's still alive, playing great basketball. They've won, I think, 17 of their last 18, 16 of the last 17, something like that. I don't have the note in front of me, but it's a pretty impressive run for Homestead over the last couple of months of the season, and they'll take on a very good Crown Point team that's ranked in the top 5 in the state. So that'll be a heck of a matchup. We'll have coverage for you here at 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM, Saturday starting just before noon. That means the Purdue game makes the move over to WOWO FM. And so you find it at 92.3 FM. Purdue against either McNeese State or Clemson. And at this point, it looks like it's going to be Clemson. It kind of looks that way. We'll take a timeout. Coming up on the top of the hour, so we got to take a break. We'll come back. Hour number 2, taking you home on a Thursday. NCAA National Tournament Day 1. Join us here at Winner's Circle, corner of Minnick and Highway 30 with the Sports Rush on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Podcasts by Federated Media.